What is up, enthusiasts? It is HeaterFlags here, and welcome back to another one of my videos. Before I go into the video, I would just like to thank all of my fans for 14,000 subscribers. That is an incredible amount, and I really never thought that I would get to this point, ever. In fact, did you know that 14,000 people will be the amount of jobs that Epic Universe will be hiring? So that means that me and all of you could run its own park. But that's getting off of the point. Today, I'm going to do a sequel. A few months ago, I decided to go a little more interactive than I usually did. I combined my skills with No Limits 2 and my opportunities to interact with fans and made a fan-made roller coaster. I did this by making a Google form where all of you could have replied on, and I took the most popular votes along with some of your responses and made a coaster out of it. And the whole purpose was to make a coaster from what all of you wanted and what the popular vote of my fanbase wanted. And I like to say that this video worked out very well. A lot of people were eager for a part 2, and here we are. Now, in order to be less similar than the last one, Coasty McCoastface, link will be in the description, I wanted to give this video a little bit of a twist. For my second fan-made roller coaster, I wanted to do a wooden coaster, so even though there are a few limitations as opposed to a steel coaster, less impressive stats, and maybe less elements, there was still a lot more options to decide on. Is it going to be dueling? And what wooden coaster should I influence it off of? Wooden coasters, after all, are very diverse in their own right. They laid the groundwork for the steel roller coasters that we have today, and there are so many types of wooden coasters, from a PTC Woody from the 30s to an Intamin prefabricated Woody from the 2000s. All of these have such diversity, so I thought this would be a great idea to push forward the series. So, a few weeks and a lot of fan requests later, we are back to make another roller coaster prior to you guys. So, this is HeaterFlags, and today, I'm going to show the results for my fan-made wooden coaster. So without further ado, let's get to the results. And to record your responses, I did a Google form, and I also did a few YouTube polls along the way. This was a new feature to make more of you fans interact with the series, and let's just say it worked pretty well. There were 162 Google form responses and 860 YouTube polls. So it's easy to say that more of the fans are checking out the YouTube polls than the Google form. So if this has a part 3, I'm gonna make more advantage of that. The first thing I asked is, what should the coaster's name be? Now, I got a lot of great honorable mentions here, and I have to say I laughed out loud at most of these. Woodman, Cops and Robbers, The Spine Smasher of Death, Escape from the Frozen Tundra, We Are Going to Candy Mountain, Name This Yourself, Cornucopia, and Monkey Coaster. There is one that made me laugh like a lot, and once I saw it, I knew that was going to be the name for the coaster, and that name is Bean Streak. It just works perfectly. There really doesn't have to be that much context. It's Bean Streak. This is Bean Streak, and it was always destined to be. So the next category is the coaster type. Now, I really didn't connect these two puzzle pieces together making the poll, and I made the RMC topper track as one of the examples. And then I realized, wouldn't that be a little too similar to my last coaster? It was an RMC hybrid, and the RMC topper tracks as well as the hybrids can basically do the same exact things. So, the top two answers were the RMC topper track and the Gravity Group Woody. So to be different, I chose the Gravity Group Woody, as the responses were very close together. I also did a few options for how tall this wooden coaster is going to be, and out of all of you, 55.9% of you voted for a roller coaster in excess of 150 feet, and I decided at an even height at 175 feet. The next category is the ride's length, and most of you voted for the 4,000 to 5,999 foot category, leaving me a little extra work in the process. The ride is going to be around 5,600 feet in length. Pretty long for a wooden coaster. The most popular vote in the how many inversions category landed me with 1 to 2 inversions, so I naturally put 2 inversions as I feel like that would be a little more diverse. Some of the more minor categories, we have a launch or a lift, and you all chose a single lift with just over half of you voting for the category. Now, all of these categories, one of them that shocked me the most was the pacing. I chose high above the ground elements and low to the ground elements. 77.5% of all of you voted for low to ground elements. I asked my YouTube fans what the layout was going to be, choosing in between an out and back layout and a twister layout, and remarkably 68% of all of you said twister. So even though this ride will have a little bit of out and back to it, it will mostly be a twister layout. Some of the first half elements that were the most popular in the response page were a camelback, a speed hill, a wave turn, which was by far the most popular, an overbank turn, a helix, and a 0G stall. For the ride's second half, we are going to have a trick track element, a corkscrew, a triple down, and another overbank turn. I don't know why, but building this coaster took a lot shorter of a time than building my last. It was a pretty decent height, and it is a lot more realistic of a coaster than the last one. I could definitely see a ride like this being built in the next few years. Though it would break some records, it would definitely be one of the best wooden coasters out there, and it's definitely feasible. Bean Streak ended up actually being a pretty good coaster, with a very nice layout with a mix of everything you want in a wooden coaster, from floater to ejector airtime, to slowly paced elements to fast paced elements. I think this coaster turned out extremely well. Seeing that this ride is a lot more realistic than Coasty McCoastface, I do have to say that I might like this one a little more. Though in the real world I would probably prefer the first, this definitely looks like the more realistic and out there choice. So, I present to you, Bean Streak. So that was my video on the fan-made coaster. Should I do a part 3? What should my twist be for part 3? Let me know down in the comments below, and let me know what you thought of the one and the only Bean Streak. I will have this available up on the Steam Workshop, so let me know what you thought in the comments below. This is Cedar Flags, and I will see you all later.